Everyone, happy Saturday. So this series of videos that I'm going to be making over the next few days or whatever like that are going to be helping you prepare and thinking of things that you might not be thinking of at the moment. Because as I've sat here started to write a list and stuff like that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need this. So hopefully that will help you remember everything you're going to need and maybe things that you didn't think of. That's what my plan is to do for the next few videos. So, you may want to use like ChatGPT or any of the AI models that you use to see, like, depending, I don't know how many people you have in your family. Calculate for like a month at least. Do it that way. See if you're going to have like for one person, what ChatGPT was telling me, or I should say Gemini, was I should need about 30 gallons of water, which is pretty easy because I can get, like I said, I'm planning on getting the 5-gallon jugs. So I was looking to maybe pick up about 4 of those. I might pick up more but for right now, I'm going to do 4. And then I'm also going to get the 3-gallon ones because those are much more portable, and you can get more of those. And because, we're thinking, well, at least me, I don't know how you're all thinking, but I know for me, I was thinking, well, okay, I'll get this and that'll be fine. And it's like, wait a minute, this is going to be like how the pandemic was. People are going to be going crazy and things are going to get wiped out. So we have to be prepared now. So think about things that were in short supply during the pandemic. And we're going to go from there. That's how we're going to work it. So today I was like, because for me, I don't have a permanent place to live. So I don't have place to store stuff. And I can't feasibly drive around with four big 5-gallon jugs plus all the other supplies I'm going to need, because I have like a couple of totes that have like cooking things, like, pots and pans and things like that I'm going to need, plus on top of like, a heating source and things like that, things of that nature that you would need. So I'm trying to be smart about it because I have to be portable. Not everybody's going to have to do that, obviously. So my point being is I went on CubeSmart because I have storage. And I was like, well, let me see. I'm like, because I've been that's another thing. I'm going to tell you straight up. Yesterday, I got myself into a spiral, which I don't typically do. And I was talking to Will, and the last time that I had a like panic spiral was like sometime in like 2014, 2015. It's been a very long, 2014, I would say. It's been a very long time since I had that. And it's not because of the fact that it's coming. It was the fact that, like, how am I going to logistically navigate certain things? Because my situation is unique. But as I'm, I managed to kind of like calm myself down. And, like, if you haven't, Frederick has talked about EFT. I've used EFT in the past. I stopped using it for like a long time. But I've used it in the past. Years ago, when I would like ruminate and obsess about things, I would do it and it would help me tremendously. And it helps you calm down. It interrupts those pervasive thought patterns that you have, okay? Like when you tap in different places, and do it as long as you need, all these different spots. Those kind of things. But I was also able to just kind of like, okay, calm down. And, if you need to talk to another source player, then, do that, somebody who's awake and aware. That is important, because at this juncture, we're kind of like the only ones that are able to like understand and support and, like, whereas like relatives who might be source players who are not awake may not be receptive. And that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? So like you might really feel alone, because we know what's going to happen, right? So there's that. If you need to reach out, then you reach out to somebody that you are, talking to, whatever like that, because that was usually helpful to me yesterday. So there's that. But now, this is the other thing, okay? Because I myself was even compelled to ask my source self this. When it comes to people that are in our family or close to us, do we help them? Do we warn them? Whatever, right? Here's the thing. I'm sure all of us on some level have tried to awaken source players that are in our immediate family or friends. And it probably hasn't gone very well, right? I've even thought about my NPC brother. You know what I'm saying? And my point is that I have many times over the last few days asked my source self, should I advise them? Because the one brother, I told you, he already has one of those Mr. Heater heaters. I was asking my source self, should I even advise him to buy more propane, like to have enough propane on hand? And I kept getting a strong no. And then I asked if I should advise my sister-in-law to have the other ding dong buy a heating supply. And I got an emphatic no, like many times. Not once did my source self tell me yes. So why am I bringing this up? I'm not saying to be, because here's the thing, and I get it because I kind of understand the sentiment, is because you know what's coming and you want to help. You want to ease your own self. That's what it is. You want to help. You want to know that you did whatever you can. And that's really all I'm suggesting, is that if you have to check with your source self, if your source self is telling you, if you ask, should I do this? Is this beneficial to do this? And your source self is telling you no, then abide by that. There's a reason why your source self is telling you that. And as much as it might go against, do what you will. If your source self is telling you no, but you're going to feel better advising somebody, whatever you're going to advise them, then do it. But it's like, it's the whole saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's really what you have to remember about this. Okay. You can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. So you can tell them what's going to happen. You can tell them you need to prepare. You could tell them this, whatever, but it's up to them. It's up to, if they're a source player, if they are a source player. If not, they're just a figment of your imagination. And in all honesty, the source player is a figment of your imagination as well, because that's not really the source player. Whatever frequency you're on is not the source player you're concerned about. That's just their shell. That's just their placeholder. So these things should help you inside in your feelings. You have to kind of come to terms with that. So I'm going to leave it at this. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be going out and I'm going to start acquiring things and, giving you a whole heads up on what you might want to consider getting for yourself and being prepared. And the bottom is so anyway, going back to the storage unit, I was so concerned about the storage. I was like, because most storage units are electrical. You have to punch in a code to get in. So I'm like, how am I going to get my stuff if electricity is interrupted for more than 3 days, and all that I'm going to have to worry about. But CubeSmart has 3 facilities in my city. And I just found one that has a small unit that has outdoor access. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I could drive right up and get whatever I need to get. So I actually reserved it today. So it's mine. And now I'm going to start, that's why I'm like, okay, I feel better because all these things are falling into place for me right now. And that's what I need, and then I'm going to go and figure out like what kind of clothing I'm going to put in there and all that stuff. So it's a plan, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to take you along so that you yourselves can plan and be prepared. All right. Be well.